Good evening, friends. Thank you for the immense response to our earlier videos with Mr. Mani and Savio. Today, dear friends, we have the vivacious Professor Vaidya, who is known for his gift of the gab. I witnessed his talks where he has held the audience in the palm of his hand with his quick wit and immense knowledge. Dr. R Vaidyanathan is a retired professor of finance at IIM, Bangalore. He is 2 times Fulbright Scholar and a fellow of ICSSR visiting faculty at various universities in USA and UK. He has been selected by Business Today as one of the 10 best professors at all IIMs. He has the rare privilege of being in various committees of regulators like SEBI, RBI, IRDA, PFRDA. He is a consultant to many organizations and is on the board of many corporates. Welcome, Professor, to our channel.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Before we start, Professor, we will just give a brief on what's been happening in the news today. We will take some questions from viewers towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Talking about Republic Channel, there has been an unprecedented display of coercion as all of Republic team has been summoned to the crime branch of Mumbai Police. What is their fault? We really don't know. Is it the fact that they are reporting the truth, which is not acceptable to the Agadi government? A harassment on a daily basis? In a startling escalation of high-handedness, all investors of Republic TV have been summoned to the Mumbai Police Crime Branch in the guise of investigative process. Moreover, every investor has been asked by the Mumbai Police to furnish financial transactions pertaining to the last 5 years. In a flamboyant display of coercion and intimidatory tactics, Encounter Specialist and API Sachin Vaz has given instructions that even smaller investors of Republic must appear before the crime branch for scrutiny. While it was well known that Mumbai Police was going after the top management, distribution leaders, editorial staff and advertisers of Republic TV, and even issued Section 91 notices, the latest targeting of investors of the channel settles in no uncertain terms the scale of the witch hunt that the Mumbai Police is undertaking. Meanwhile, CPJ, which is the Committee to Protect Journalists, condemned the police witch hunt on Republic and Arnab Goswami. And following Republic TV's consulting editor Pradeep Bhandari's illegal custodial interrogation and confiscation of his phones under the guise of summons, the APP representing Mumbai Police made extensive arguments for cancellation of anticipatory bail granted to Pradeep Bhandari. The Mumbai Police argued that Pradeep is not cooperating with the investigation and consistently avoiding participating in the investigation. They further accused the Republic TV reporters of reaching the police station and obstructing the police officers from carrying on with their duty while the investigation was underway. However, Republic strongly opposed these contentions and filed a written reply refuting all these allegations made by Mumbai Police. Republic is to take legal action against Paramveer Singh. Public, however, have not remained mute spectators. People from all over India and abroad have, through their videos, expressed their solidarity with Arnab Goswami. Meanwhile, in the Sushant case, CBI has opposed Mumbai Police's FIR based on Ria's complaint against Sushant Singh's sisters. This seems like a completely topsy-turvy world where the criminals are out on bail and the innocent people are being targeted in order to be arrested. Professor Vaidya, shall we move to the questions?
Please see me. I think you have to.
Right. Yeah. Shall we move on to the questions of Professor Vaidya?
Yeah.
So my first question is, why is it not possible for a government to form a team which will coordinate with the state to remove all unnecessary laws which are breeding corruption? Professor Vaidya, you said it's important to scrap hundreds of rules and regulations to boost economy. Like in UP, dismantle the plethora of regulations for the economy to recover and bloom. These rules and regulations, you said, stifle productivity and creativity and are the main reason for the mess we find ourselves in.
Yeah,
could you
I
cover?
have been,
Yeah, you may. Yeah, please.
I have been talking about it for quite some time actually.
Yes.
I've also written a book on India unincorporated as early as 2014-15.
Yes.
We talk about the ease of doing business, but it is not the ease of doing business only at Delhi or at Vigyan Bhavan. And during 1991
Yeah.
financial crisis, PV Narasimha Rao actually dismantled a lot of regulatory framework for the
Yes.
corporate sector, for the company sector. He removed licensing for most of the products. I will just come back to you later. Okay, sure. Sorry. So he dismantled, and there used to be one gentleman called controller of capital issues.
Yes.
That's most important. He was considered a sultan of capital market. He has to decide what should be the price at which a share is sold. And everyone who goes to Delhi used to go and do pranam to him and everything.
Yes.
Narasimha Rao removed him also overnight.
Yes. Yeah.
Nothing happened. There was a hue and cry. There was a lot of talk in even English newspaper
Yes.
that Narasimha Rao is having a lot of this audacity and what will happen. Nothing happened. Actually, some intermediaries lost their position and same way, what is required now is 28 Narasimha Rao in 28 states
Yes.
and some hundreds of Narasimha Rao in all the municipal corporations. Here, actually, the problem is much more acute and severe. My estimate is roughly 10% of our GDP is given as bribes every year. And with the 225 lakh crore, that been around 22.5, 25 lakh crore is bribe is made. On all fronts, actually, every regulation involves a bribe, actually, in state level. And they have regulation for Food and Adulteration Act. You may have heard about it. Fortunately, it doesn't cover the households. Otherwise, that inspector will come to your kitchen and say that, vessels are not clean and other thing. It covers all the small hotels, establishments and other. What is this regulation does? Everywhere, all over the country, this official corporation, it's a municipality or corporation, they go to the restaurant and collect some money in an envelope. These I call as envelope regulations. Nothing to do with regulatory framework or anything. A long time before, one state government appointed me as a chairman of a committee to look at this regulation of Food and Adulteration Act as an example. Wrongly, most of the time government appoints me wrongly only, never rightly. So I asked a question: how many people have died in this town in eating in these restaurants? They told nobody has died in the last 5 years. Then I told one person told stomachache may come. I told even if you eat at home, sometimes stomachache come. Then finally they asked me what is your suggestion. I told scrap this law. And there is such a amount of concern, worry, and how can we? I told there is an enlightened self-interest, very simple. Even a fellow who makes this pani puri on the road, he's worried about the customer coming next day to him. Similarly, hotel, restaurant, if you give some wrong idli and then if I get some problem, the message will spread. And nowadays with social media, one girl will click a selfie of the dosa herself and cockroach and send it in the network. And it will go to Venezuela within a matter of 1 hour. So that's a type of social pressure is much, much higher these days. So they will be more concerned, Same way we have so many regulations. For instance, too many fires you hear about in the newspaper and in the TV. And fire in a multi-story building, fire in an apartment, fire in a shop. And, what is the basic thing is corruption. You will be shocked how. Because there is a regulatory framework for keeping fire protection equipment and fire protection. None of them do it. They all would, give the fellow some money and then. And there is one Shops and Establishment Act. I am sure you would have heard about it. Every state has got it. It's a fat book. I'm running into 800, 900 pages. It says the shop should have a clean environment surrounding. See, for the last 15 years, I am buying bread from a nearby shop at my home.
Yes.
right? Fresh bread, because my dog wants only fresh bread. That's another stupid thing. It doesn't take previous yesterday's bread. No, today's morning bread. So I have to go on. There is a mori. There is a big open drainage for the shop. There is a wooden plank put on top of it. 15 years. I'm not telling about 1 or 2 months. And I buy the bread and come back. Technically speaking, that shop should be closed because it doesn't have a. And shop should not have rats. Have you ever seen any shop without rats? It should have sunshine and it should have seating facilities. If you read that regulation, the whole thing is absurd actually. And a lot of years before, one cabinet minister openly told we have to close down all the shops in Karnataka if we have to implement this laws. So what is the net result? One fellow comes and collects some some bribe on this. So there are innumerable number of regulations. One simple petty shop to set up in a town like Bangalore or Hyderabad or Coimbatore or Chennai, how many regulations are there? 22 regulations are there. Just set up a very small shop. It's much easier to get a gun license in Bangalore than setting up a small shop. Gun license, you require 5 or 6 requirements. So what is happening? When I was teaching at IIM, I used to give my student a project. You go and set up a shop. I'll give you the money. The one condition is you shouldn't cut corners. You should set it up as per regulations. All the students used to fail in that course. None could set up a shop. They were passed in terms of grades because of the methodology and all that. None could set it up because you require water permission, you require land thing, you require power connection permission. And another thing is to exhibit a board in front of your shop, corporation has to give permission. And if you want to put neon light in the night, separate one. And then 60 font should be Kannada and 40 font should be English. All these things, you have to go on spending, unlike a big company which has a huge number of chartered accountants, lawyers and other thing who will go around fighting the case. These small establishments don't have such a facility. It's a mostly one man or one family show. Yes. So they will provide some money and then close. So the best thing is, instead of giving more and more bank loan and this and that, that's one good thing, but that's not enough. What is required is, this regulatory framework can be kept aside for 3 years. Actually, it can be closed down. Nothing will happen. Kept aside. Why kept aside? So that the government employees are not very unhappy. They are unhappy. They will be unhappy. But for 3 years. And then you will find a significant amount of benefit to the small MSMEs. That is where the problem comes. Roughly for very small, tiny and micro, 20% of the turnover goes away. Yeah. My flower vendor, she sells around 500 rupees. She says something like 60, 70 rupees goes in this. One fellow will come and bully. He will say, you are not supposed to keep the shop here. One cop will come. Like that, it goes on. So this is a very, very major issue. We have to have a close look at this regulatory framework. Does it really help? One. Second is, couple of years before my secondary school leaving certificate, I should get an authorization or a stamp affidavit from a gazetted officer. That used to be the system. If you have to submit it somewhere, it has to be, sometime it can be even notary. Yeah. But now government, what it did, the correct thing, self-attestation. There is no need for me to go to a gazetted officer. Self-attestation, but later if I am caught that I have made a error, then I can be severely punished. Yes. Same way I feel most of the things self-attestation can be there. For instance, a lift. Every apartment building has got a lift. There is a lift inspector. He comes and put a notice telling this lift has been verified, and most of the time on the phone itself he will say it is okay, you go get. And you have to send in the amount. That's yes. All this regulation amount is the important thing. Yeah. Karcha you have to do. So why because the people in the apartment are concerned, their children are using the lift, their parents are using the lift. They are equally worried about the functioning of the lift properly. Yes. Give the onus to them. Let them self-certify. If there is a problem, then give a swift and severe punishment. So my suggestion will be all these regulations should be self-certified. Small establishment, small buildings, on all these counts. This is one thing which I think very, very important to think
So
of.
who are the people? Yeah, people who have to take the first step to do
State
this.
governments. State government has to take the first step. And they have to come out courageously. There is no difference between NDA and UPA and all these things. All of them are equally corrupt. There is no. So the state governments have to come out, and then the municipal corporations have to come out.
Yeah.
This is something very, very critical and important. Otherwise, just telling from Delhi that, business, you see, a big company, if it is Noika or if it is Samsung or something, they have a big department. They have a huge paraphernalia of lawyers and chartered accountants, subcontractors, and some of them will bribe. But now that is also becoming difficult. Many of the American companies are facing the music because in US the laws have been amended. Anywhere in the world, whether it is Zimbabwe, whether it is Bangladesh or India, if a US company is involved in bribing some parties, not necessarily the company, their contractors or their agent. In US, action can be taken by the Department of Justice. You might have read about this Cognizant and some of the big companies facing problem in US for doing business in India. So actually, European companies are complaining because are benefiting. American companies are telling European companies don't have this regulation, and they are rapidly going around. Right. So this is something very, very interesting. So if you relax all this regulation, the income of all the small enterprises will go up by 20% at least, which is most important. And today the demand is extremely important. The second type of regulation which center can consider is make a minimum income tax to be 10 lakh. They have been telling for a long time that they would do it, and before every election, everybody claims all these things. After election, nobody. As one leader of a party told me, you are the only fellow who read manifestos of political parties. Even the fellows who write don't read it. So why are you? So 10 lakh can be the minimum actually, and about 10 lakh up to 50 lakh it can be something like 10%. Then 20%. That's all. Only 2 slabs. Forget about everything else. Why? Because the surplus funds with the people will increase. And this is for the middle class. They are the ones who have to spend. No point in telling them, for instance, there is a restaurant near my home. He's got everything done, he puts all this, sanitizer and clean and neat. But he has got bank loan also. But he says, I get only 2 people. On Friday evening, normally people take token and wait outside. In the past, I'm telling. But today he gets only 2-3 people. That's all. Demand is the most important thing today in these type of activities. Whether it is saloon, whether it is small, restaurant, whether it is small, transport operators, all these people face the major problem. And so 10 lakh is nothing big these days. It can be. And don't harass small people, according to me.
That's
focus on very big people, 100 crore people, 50 crore people, and use the IT income tax fellows to go after them. Second is up to 50 crore. Up to 50 crore, you can remove GST for everybody. Nothing big about it, actually. And so they will be, because the number of forms you have to fill up is, mind-boggling. And many of the small fellows don't have all the wherewithal to hire a chartered accountant or to have a computer, laptop, and these type of things. So, according to me, don't bother about small fellows. Let them flourish. Let them do business. Let them be active. This is what is currently required in the context. Second question you asked about impact. Impact is, let me be very blunt. One is the automobile industry, as we know, is dead. DEAD. There is no two opinion of it. Much before COVID, not many people know the German as well as US had a decline in automobile production. In Europe, many towns, you cannot drive cars today. You have to go by cycle or walk only. That is one of the what you call environmental friendly method they have taken. And the new type of things are coming up, electric cars and other things. The traditional car manufacturers all will go out of business. Not only that, believe me, madam, in 10 years, you will not have any petrol pumps. Only charging points will be there.
Yes.
And all automobile mechanic will go out of work. You know, normal, our industry, internal combustion engine type of based automobile, old style, you have so many thousands of moving parts. In a electric, there is hardly some, 15, 20 moving parts. That's all.
Yeah.
If there is something wrong, you take the thing, it will get charged or they will replace it. That's all. There is no question of any repair or anything.
So then, what will happen to all these? What will happen to all these Lamborghinis and Audis and Mercedes Benz?
Just you can keep it as a exhibit, or you can take it once in a year in that what is that called? That procession they take of all these fabulous cars.
Vintage.
So nobody is going to go for cars. I'm telling you, this is a traditional car. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Almost all the companies, Ford Motor Company, GM, everybody is worried looking at Tesla. So car is not a mechanical instrument anymore. It's a software.
Yes.
See, you remember Ambassador, driving Ambassador.
Yeah.
You remember Ambassador car didn't have anything other than one brake and horn. That's all.
Yes. Yeah.
And brake and horn brake is more important. Horn is more important than brake in Ambassador.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, because you have to honk permanently in order to. But today, if you get into a modern car, it's full of software.
Yeah.
Everywhere radials, everywhere moving. Your role is very less.
Yeah.
Second is in 10 years we will have driverless cars. They are coming up. So what will happen if you have a driverless car? You can work in the car.
Yeah.
You don't have to drive. So you can work. So work from home will become work from car.
Yeah.
So commuting will. So this is something which is dramatic development is taking place. Already, many companies are not buying cars. They ring up the agency which will send a car today. For instance, my institute, we used to have some 12, 13 cars. Today, there are hardly 1 or 2 cars.
Yeah.
Anytime you ring up, one fellow will send it. So the car agencies have already, reduced the purchases of individual.
Yes.
Then Ola and Uber have come. That is another thing. So the whole automobile industry has changed. One.
Yeah.
Second is, hotel industry has also been demolished.
Yeah.
People are not traveling extents, particularly the small 432 category hotel.
Yeah.
I'm telling some of my friends who run small time hotel to convert them into wellness centers. Wellness centers are going to be the rage of the future. It's not return on investment. It is return on health. Health is going to be a very, very major factor in the future. Health, including the type of food you eat, the type of exercise you do, yoga, pranayama, hundreds of things associated with that.
Yes.
And our own old traditional thing will also be coming back. Like for instance, in California, they put turmeric powder into milk and give it as turmeric latte, $1.99, which my grandmother used to do on a daily basis in the olden time. She used to put this manjapudi, we call it, turmeric into milk and give it. Nothing new about it. So this is something very, very interesting thing which is coming up.
Yeah.
So we have a huge amount of development taking place in the wellness industry. That's one thing. Second thing which is taking place is e-learning. We are not going to go back. Schools may open and all these things. But wherever huge congregations are there, you are not going to have those activities. Like today itself you are seeing tennis match being played without audience. Football is played without audience. And some music is given background to show that somebody is clapping and other thing.
Yeah.
Cricket is played without audience.
Shows. Yeah.
Congregating activities are all dead.
Yes.
In my area, a local church, for instance, they have rearranged the benches in such a way there is a 6 feet distance between people who pray.
Yeah.
Already. It's a congregating religion actually. Both Christianity and Islam are congregating religion.
Yes. Yes.
Both of them are significantly. Similarly, film halls are all gone. Your OTT will be the future. So all these crowding activities are all going to show a huge decline.
Yeah.
Then airline industry. Earlier people used to jump and then travel. Chennai to Bombay, Bombay to Hong Kong, all that is. People think 3 times before even, and the corporates are also cutting down. And many of these webinar and other activities are picking up. For instance, I am on the board of a couple of companies. They are conducting board meeting using this Zoom. They are very happy. You know why? One company secretary told one meeting they are saving 60 lakhs. One meeting. Air travel, 5-star hotel stay, and then local travel by car.
Yes.
Not just for one director. Some say 10, 12 directors from all over the country. All of them now sit before the screen and then talk. That's all. So this is going to be the future. And e-learning is going to be much, much more important.
What about tourism?
Tourism is, tourism will be from your drawing room. You don't have to see the tiger in the cage or something like that. All of them, it's a very sad state of affairs, you may think, but we have to reorient ourselves in terms of the new type of living and new type of activities. There is no, so it is all going to be screen based. Screen based, I mean, in terms of your football matches or in terms of tourism or in terms of various other, it's not going to be enthusiastic. So there is not much of outward travel. But there will be large amount of requirement of inward exercises, inward type of rigor in terms of eating and so many other type of things will come up. So 2 industries you have to watch, madam, is the wellness industry. Wellness in a very total thing. Other is e-learning. See, today, if you have 100 acres of land, you become a university. And you declare yourself to be chancellor of university. And then give a doctorate to yourself. So that thing will go. You don't require 200 acres to become a university. If you have a 4-room, very good server, you are a university. And you can hire professors, lecturers on specific themes, specific topics and other things. This UGC, AICT, all will go. I'm telling you, believe me, actually, all of them are redundant. Because who is to assess you finally? The employer, the recruiter. If they think that you are giving good education, they will give you the job. That's all. So there is no need for huge number of, the fixed employment will also go. Particularly, already for instance, in towns like Bangalore or Hyderabad, many of the specialist doctors are not employed by a hospital. They are all freelance. If you are a good anesthetist, you visit various hospitals, do anesthetics, and then collect the funds and come out. That's all. There is no, the same way, large number of these people will become like our plumber, carpenter, and painter and everything, overall freelancing at higher levels, I'm telling you. So this is also, the fixed jobs are gone. No need. And many of the organizations which have shifted to work from home are not going to reverse it easily. Because this is very, very interesting. Work from home, not necessarily from your inside your bedroom or drawing room. For instance, some apartment buildings I have seen in Seoul as well as in Hong Kong. Huge apartment building. Next to that, there is another huge building called office building. Lot of offices are located there. So people can go. It's a sharing basis. They work in the office. So the work from home is not inside your drawing room. It can be adjacent to your building. So travel is significantly reduced. There is no, you see, in a city like Bangalore, I am sure you will agree, people spend something like 3 hours per day up and down in just traveling without any rhyme or reason. And obviously the productivity is correspondingly much less. Right? Aggregate economy is not, unfortunately, is not showing any great improvement as of now. A lot of people are enthusiastic, say green shoots have come and other thing. If it's all a question of whether you are extra enthusiasm about the current government, or it has got nothing to do with government. The economy has been severely affected, has to be recognized. First quarter, of course, a lot of young people may be observing. Quarter mean the 3-month period, because they have some other idea of quarter in India now. So that is what I want to. These pub going people, they have first quarter, our results are very bad. Minus 24% compared to last quarter. First quarter mean April, May, June. Now July, August, September quarter also, it is expected to be minus roughly 10%. Results will be out very soon. The second quarter. The overall year, RBI says we will end up with minus 9.5% compared to last year. So it's not something, our Reserve Bank of India in this, madam, agriculture is doing that. Surprising. Agriculture has always been around 1%. Today it is estimated to be 4.5%. Overall 5% growth may be there in agriculture. And agriculture constitute roughly 1/5 of our economy, 18%, 20%. If they are growing at 5% and the overall it is minus 9.5, you can imagine the impact on the other sectors like industry as well as service.
What about real estate?
Real estate is in a very, very bad situation as of now. A couple of reasons. One is huge amount of migrant laborers have gone back, and so the construction activities have slowed down. Second is large number of companies have reduced the pay by 20 to 30% of many senior executives and other things. You may be aware of it. They have cut down. So the EMIs are becoming extraordinarily difficult. Many of the middle class people are weeping actually, because they have bought their home, they have bought the TV, they have bought the fridge, everything on EMI. Whole life is on EMI actually. And they are not able to meet the expenses. So this is very, very. So the problem associated with real estate might, be sorted out. Another thing has also happened, very interesting. Work from home, many people have left these metropolitan places to their homes. Bangalore, a lot of apartments are empty on to let. Because they feel work from home, you can work from anywhere. Why should it be only in metropolitan towns? You can go back to your village, sit there, as long as the connectivity is good and as long as you have a good, server. So this is something which is, so it may take some more time for real estate to pick up. It's not going to be immediate, right? So other industries which are severely affected other than agriculture, in terms of, I told you about the transport. Agriculture is doing relatively well. And this recent amendment, agriculture bills are extremely good in that context. It will help the actual farmers, not the middlemen. Actual farmers can benefit immensely. They can go for contract farming and all this. So agri-business can pick up and then do flourish in our country. And not agriculture doesn't mean only wheat and rice. There is a huge number of, your horticulture, your other type of. One thing, not many people even realize this. The items like what you use, spices we call it, your asafoetida and your, other type of small item, mustard, then your pepper and all this. They have gone up by 200% in the last 4 years. Because we buy in 25 gram, 50 gram, we don't realize it actually. Huge amount of price rise have taken place in all these things. So agriculture is not just only the standard thing. There are many other and they are not taxed. I think you may know about it. No income tax for agriculture. There is actually a allegation or a rumor that Sharad Pawar's daughter owns a 10 acre of land in a dry land area. And she told she earned 100 crore out of that to the income tax. She can get actually the Global Krishi Ratna Award, right? World. Nobody can make 100 crore out of 10 acre. Anyhow, he told, but you can't do anything because it's not taxed yet, right? As of now. So agriculture means we have to distinguish between there are very rich farmers, very well off groups and other thing, and then there are marginal and very small farmers who are very large in number. and that is what will take place in terms of contract forming, and the advances will be given, and then output will be procured. And then another major advantage is in this, when there is a surplus in one area, the deficit, you can shift today the products. There is no difficulty at all. It's not necessarily through APMC yards or anything. I can, for instance, in Kolar, if there is a surplus tomato, I can, if there is a requirement in Kanpur, you can shift it there and then sell it. So this is another very, very important thing. The surplus and deficit should be matched. And the financial sector is going to be a function of the real sector, most important. It's not, the movement in the Sensex or movement in Nifty. As of now, some international funds come and based on the problems in the global economy, they go, right? But it's not, the real sector has to improve. Real sector, I mean real activities. And based on that, our financial sector can also flourish. And there is not a big deal in terms of Sensex. You may know there are 30 shares in Sensex. 5 or 6 of them are important. You see, they do not constitute more than 5-6% of our GDP. Our GDP comes mostly from MSME, small and medium enterprises. So share market is important, not beyond a point. And savings, housewives don't put their money in the share market. Hardly 3% goes to share market. Mostly it is in banks or in house, or of course, in gold. These are the 3 areas where, Indian middle class invest and other. So we shouldn't too much bother about, what is the movement in Sensex, will it go up, will it come down, or anything like that.
Can I ask you the next question, Professor?
Yes.
As per today's Economic Times, India economy accelerated in September as animal spirits soared, recovery in service sector in the last quarter, manufacturing also picked up. Export returned to positive figure of 6%, a considerable growth of 26.5% in passenger vehicle sales. Now, my question to you is, once a vaccine is out, do you think our economy can grow at the rate of 7 to 10%, especially in the view of the fact that countries are depending less on Chinese goods? Can you share your views on this?
In this year, let me be very, you may say I'm pessimist or anything. I'm not pessimist, I'm realist. This year, I think we will grow only negative. We are not going to grow. And all this, cars have been dispatched. It's a wholesale to retailer. Finally, people have to go and pick up from the retailer. Initially, some increase will be there in two-wheeler and car because people will feel better to travel in our own vehicle than to travel in a public transport because of the COVID and other fears and other things. That's the reason. Otherwise, there is not much of a huge boost or anything which is coming up in the economy. I think you might have read a report, realistic, in this Koramangala in our Bangalore, which is considered as, Bangalore itself is considered as Silicon Valley. I don't know why we are a valley. We are actually a hill place. Anyhow, this Koramangala is one of the critical pin code, which is got huge number of this, new entrepreneurs who are coming up, startups, what we are called. And there was a report, 167 toilet boards in Koramangala today. 167 in that small area, where actually our Nandan Nilkini and so many other people have they are all staying there. So many startups are suffering. So many, retail shops are suffering. You go to malls and other thing, you don't find that level of enthusiasm and crowd and other. Online buying is there, of course. There is, but beyond a point. That
could be one of the reasons.
That's picking up actually, online buying. But how much online buying can, offset this is something which is. And the small traders and others, some of them are managing, in the sense, some vegetable vendors or provision store fellows are still managing, right? So this is, so I think we will be having negative growth only this year. I mean, 2021. 21-22, we have to wait and see. Very important. We have to wait. Unless, as I told you, huge amount of regulatory framework is removed. Giving more and more money from bank is not adequate actually. If you give money from bank, what will happen? You can, cook more food in the restaurant, but there should be customers
Yes.
who should come and eat.
Yeah.
So the demand side is much, much more important than the supply side, right? This is something which we have to worry.
Yeah.
And the last but not least, very important, I should stress, the government should cut itself to significantly. Huge number of government departments are waste,
Yes.
madam.
Just sitting and
Why should they
catching
give
flies?
one award is given to somebody, best film fellow. This minister goes and shakes hand. If it is a heroine, he shakes hand 3 times. If it is a hero, only 1 time. So why all this? Why should these are all Nehru time started actually. And government says you are a best writer, Sahitya Academy. Why should government decide you are a best writer or not? Probably. And the government says, you agree with me. You are not going to listen to MS Subbulakshmi because she is a Bharat Ratna, right? You are going to listen to her independent of anything else, or Bhimsen Joshi, right? All these awards and rewards, and these are all old Stalin ideas actually, right? Not Stalin time. It used to be felt in Russia that they should give the awards. Government should recognize. Who is government? Huge paraphernalia is there. We have this. What is that called? Samachar. Some 75,000 people are employed there. All sorts of people. Then we have information and broadcasting ministry, who don't have any clue to what is happening. They call all these fellows, Amazon and others, to ask them to say, what are you doing? So without that. So we have all these can be, and then women and child welfare. Always a woman is put in charge, and she thinks she and her sons, children welfare is the most important. Not required. And duplication, agriculture central ministry, agriculture state ministry, education center, education state. All these are duplication. If you ask me, 50% of our government can be chopped off. You pay them till they retire so that they don't create a nuisance. You can only pay them their salary. You can't pay them their bribe. Kindly note that. Most important. And 50% can be chopped off. That means huge reduction in government expenditure. We should have at the center foreign affairs, defense, high technology areas and other things, which are very much required. And coordination of other ministries and other. That's all. There is no need. We have a steel ministry. Steel is deregulated. What do they do? Sir, we have to appoint chairman of SAIL. For that, you don't require a huge ministry. State level, unbelievable. 50 to 60 enterprises are there at state level. I shouldn't call them enterprises. There is no. But, they have not prepared their annual report, Meena Madam, from 2013-14. Many of them. All of them are waste. 55 state level enterprises. What are they doing? Everything has got a chairman. One Lal Batti is put for his car, and then he is given some 2 assistants, and one police. That is another thing. Security fellow. And all this. And these are all, why you are giving all that? The minister says, sir, we can't make him a minister. So we make him a chairman of this. There is in Karnataka, there is one sheep and wool rearing corporation. So a lot of these are, plenty of them are there actually. They are not required for that at all. Somebody is telling on Anita Madam, Bollywood contributes phenomenally, but it is not required for government of India to go and give a medal or award to them or something. They make their money and let them do. You see, Oscar is not by government of US. It's a their own agency. Among the producers, and so similarly private fellows can encourage, and nowadays plenty are come. For instance, ITC sponsors many of the Sangeeta Utsavas. Many of the private fellows have come. In Chennai, for instance, if you get a recognition from Madras Music Academy, it is considered as much more greater than getting any reward from any ministry or something. And then we have Padma, Padma Desai, Padma Dosai, I call them actually. Padma Sri, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhuga. And some people put it very proudly.
All to the wrong people. All to the wrong people.
All the wrong people. And, Sifarsi for this, I recommend Meena, it should be given the Padma Bhushan, and you recommend me to get, and everywhere there is a recommendation in this also, and push and pull. Finally, you know, one thing happened in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, it is called Kalai Mamani. You are recognized as a great artist. In Karnataka, I think it is called this November 1st. You know? So what is that called? November 1st is called, what is that day? 1st November, Karnataka Formation Day, actually. So, Rajyotsava. So, they gave Rajyotsava award. You know what happened a couple of years before? They gave too many awards. Some 150 or 160. So, there was a function to felicitate them. But the people who got awards, they filled up the whole auditorium because there is no place for others to enter even. So, the award is an award. So, do you remember, incidentally, do you remember who got this Rajyotsava award 3 years before? Can you tell 3 names? Nobody can tell. I asked one minister this question. He was laughing. Do you remember who got Padma Bhushan some 2 years before? Nobody. All these are futile activities. And, you know, everybody goes. And, you know, the amount of money we spend on all these things is unbelievable. Fellows have to be transferred from faraway places to Delhi, and then he has to be put in on hotel in Delhi. And then one lady told me there are some regulations. When you go to, I should reveal that to you, to meet the president. They say you should have your blouse up to your, you know, covering your arms. You cannot, you know, completely cover, then, so that this what is loosely called the cleavage is not seen by anybody. So all those regulatory framework are very strict. All totally, see, we indulge in such a futile type of activities. Close down all these things. Sangeet Academy, Natak Academy. So you know this, what do you call it? All this Padma Bhushan, you know, huge amount of money you will say, and the ministers can focus on other things properly.
On their jobs.
So what you told now, before we started, the television industry. Today, one channel is being harassed by one police commissioner. Supported by his government. It's as if, you know, it's a Hitler regime. He calls all these employees, 1,000 people. He tells them, you give the bill for your toilet paper and all that, including janitors. He calls everybody, CFO. What is happening in this country? This is what is to be looked into by the INB minister. This is the way to treat it. And all other channels are all enjoying this, actually. It's a very sad state affair, because tomorrow it can happen to them. Today the government is like this. Tomorrow the government can be different. Extraordinarily unbelievable story, actually, if you want me to tell that. The way in which the state government is misusing its position. And Shiv Sena, I have always maintained, it has nothing to do with Hindu or anything. You know, it was founded basically as an anti-South Indian party, an anti-North Indian party. You know, in the 60s, they used to go and loot these Udupi hotels. That was their job. SK Patil used to be the big Congress leader. He used them to fight communists, actually. Then they were developed, you know, all this mischief has been done by Congress, actually. Whether it is Bindranwale, whether it is LTTE, all these were, see, these are all, you know, once you develop them, they are Frankenstein. It's like riding a tiger. And that fellow is now become chief minister, and he says that, you know, we will, and this one single channel is being, you know, treated like, you know, nobody's business, and none in the country can question them today. Central government, state governments, other state government, and now they have told that CBI cannot even investigate in Maharashtra. Kerala is also planning to bring this. Every state is behaving as if they are a kingdom. It's a very sad state of affairs, I'm telling you, Minadi, because today it can happen in Maharashtra, tomorrow it can happen anywhere else. And everybody knows that Bombay's this Bollywood is full of black money, money laundering, and drug. These are the 3 major activities of them. In between, they also produce some movies for, you know, in the olden days, Tatas used to say, we also make steel. Like that, these people also make movies, that's all. This is, drug is not something
How would you
unknown or anything.
how would you describe Paramveer Singh?
Huh?
How would you describe Paramveer Singh?
He cannot be described, actually. He has to be proscribed, not described. Right. Somebody told, will he get anticipatory bail? I told he should get anticipatory jail. He is going berserk, actually. He is going berserk. You don't
Yes.
treat, he is asking to give the, the bill for all the toilet rolls, and, there is a limit to that.
Yes.
1,000 employees and all of them are being called, and this is not it's an extraordinarily disturbing situation.
Yeah.
According to me, this is disgusting, actually. This is not the way.
Is he merely a puppet, or?
Obviously, he is not see, one thing, let us be very clear, in the country today, most of the senior posts in critical areas in civil service are all auctioned by the government.
Yes.
By the senior people. You have to bid money and then get the place.
Yeah.
It is not, like anything else, right? Very important to know this. For instance, my one of the known person is Thana in charge. He said he has paid 12 lakhs to get the job. So he has to recover that.
Yeah.
Not a joke. Everywhere it is like this. So it's not something. So it's not just is a puppet or anything. It is also the way in which he has, come into the power. Obviously, he will use the power, right? So there is a huge amount of issue involved in this. Essentially, a state government is comprehensively misusing its powers in order to harass one individual. Because it's all, that it all started with that Salyan death, that lady who committed suicide. Supposed to have committed suicide, and then went into that SSR issue. And then from them, there it went into this drug issue. Riya Chakrabarti and so many other. From drugs, it has gone into. So this is what is happening, actually.
Yeah.
And the medical report is not supposed to be proper, actually. They should have, conducted another alternate medical report, or I don't know what is happening at the Delhi level also. Why are they all looking at it in a passive fashion?
Yes.
One person cannot be harassed like this for, particularly a media.
But Professor, there are three people in the party, three parties. Who is the most vicious of them?
Who are the three people whom we are telling? Sorry?
Three parties. It's a Mahavikas Aghadi.
Three parties.
Yes.
Oh, who is vicious? This is a very, very tough question to answer. The house is burning. The father is asked, which of the kids is the worst kid? He said the one who stands in the top with the torch. Like, obviously, the Sonia Maino party will be the most vicious. They are the ones who are, and they are the least, number also. But see, this is something very sad, actually. If you ask me, one angle, you feel very depressed about it. It's not. So all the, and then for a long time, I have always been maintaining, I have written it also. Bollywood and cricket are two which are controlled by Dawoodi Brigade in our country. And those are two, cricket and Bollywood are the major passion of middle class in India. Everybody has an idea about what should constitute a cricket team. You ask an average, he will tell you a cricket team. It should be this. And Bollywood is another, opium of the masses. So these two are the major, and these two are completely controlled by black money and mafia.
Yes.
Even today we have not come out with the fact how Sunanda Pushkar died. Everybody is, making various amount of discussion only about it. And the central court has, stopped it, actually. And in a sense, that the last, the police have filed a report with the High Court telling that our friend Tharoor is one of the suspect and accused, actually.
Yes.
Murder accused, they have told. The court case is pending.
In fact,
that is something I always say, one time what happened, I'll tell you a thing about our court. One fellow who is 75-year-old is standing on the box.
Yeah.
The judge is very angry with him. At 75, can you do mischief with a girl? He is shouting at him. If you are 25, at least I can understand. But you are 75. So this man told, sir, at 25 only I did that mischief. But now only the case has come in the on your honors court. So that is what. So this is what is happening today. You see again they have told this court in Goa, which is going on about that fellow.
Yeah.
It has to be completed by March, they
Yeah.
say, but never they tell which year. March only they have told the Supreme Court. They didn't say March 2020. They should have told 2021, right? Nothing. And that Tejpal case is going on actually.
Yes.
2013, he seems to have done some mischief.
Yes.
Now already 7 years. And that lady may become very old after some time actually. And the judge will say, why did you harass this old lady? You know, at this, without realizing it took place in. So the judicial delays are unbelievable actually.
Yeah.
So this Bollywood and cricket are both
In fact,
controlled by
Professor,
black money.
in fact, Professor, Shashi Tharoor also reacted in the same way that Paramveer is reacting now when Arnab was hounding him. You remember?
Yeah. So this is very, very, you see, unfortunately, today the judicial system or the police system is not about the crime. Who conducted the crime is more important. If address-based decisions are taken,
Yes.
that's a collapse of the system. That is what standard British used to say.
Yeah.
You never decide a crime based on address of the person. You decide based upon fact of the case.
Yeah.
That is not there. It is only question of who has done it. So then it is fine. Then it is. And all the agencies, even in financial crimes, I am telling, your RBI or SEBI, there is accountability for them. You tell me from 93, 92 Arshad Mehta scandal to yesterday's scandal, any single RBI official has been punished?
Yeah.
They are the regulators. They sit on the board of the banks also.
Yes.
So this is something which, very, very unfortunate. And I only hope that the better sense prevails at some level at Delhi as well as in the, what do you call the local level. And this whole Paramveer saga is brought to an end. It's not otherwise going to leave anything. It's going to be bitter actually. It's not a,
See,
and
Professor,
other media should come forward to say stop. Enough is enough actually.
Professor, see, in this case, there are very crucial people involved in it, like politicians and Bollywood and underworld. So they're trying their best. You heard the speech of Uddhav Thackeray saying that, see, his son, people have been attacking his son unnecessarily, and that, Paramveer Singh said that it is a suicide, it's a suicide. I mean, without anybody asking him for any clarifications, he just comes out with his own version. So unless there is some guilt, why would he come out with all these things?
Correct. There is a popular proverb in Tamil, Engappa Kudurkulla Ellan, that one fellow who has lent money goes to the house and asks the boy, where is your father? He says, my father is not under the bed, sort of, which means there is some problem. So this clarification, everybody knows it's a messy situation.
Yes.
And everybody knows these are gundagiris. There is nothing, let us be very clear about it. There is no something called, right? So there is nothing called in terms of what you may loosely call the law will take its own course or nothing like that. They are fudging. They are trying to avoid some major thing which has taken place, and they may be successful. One doesn't know in our context actually. And it's a very sad set of affairs. The whole episode, media house, and one media house only. That is most important, not other media houses. It's not controlled by any big businessman or anything. One person. And he owns it. And he is being hounded actually. Hounded is not a word to use actually.
Yeah, yeah.
The chief finance officer, in what way is connected with the functioning of his media?
Yeah.
And he is asked, and everyone is questioned for 4 hours, 3 hours. What they are questioning for 4 hours and 3 hours? I cannot believe it actually. They say they are grilled. The way they grill, I think one big pig you can roast and eat. That type of grilling there. It's a, and actually, fellows who have hidden black money and other thing, they are not grilled. They are given
Scot
coffee,
free.
tea,
Yeah.
poha, and
Yes.
upma and other thing
Mm.
when they visit them. Actually,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
and they sometimes they ride all this. I think one DK Sivakumar in
Yeah.
Bangalore. As a standard, they would have ridden him some 33.4 times, I think.
Yes.
Every 6 months, when they feel there is nothing much to do, ride DK Sivakumar. What is the net result of all these things? We should like to know actually. Very sad. I will tell you one thing. Many people will not like me telling it. After 2014, nearly 6 years are over, right? 2014 May, more than 6 years actually. Not a single scamsters of pre 2014 has been put inside jail today. All are roaming happily. P.
So
Chidambaram is
who do
giving
you blame?
speeches
Is
every
it
day.
the judiciary system or the central government?
Government also. Government also feels okay. Who against whom we should act, against whom we should not act. That type of a thing. And then there is a stupid, Amendment 18 which has come. What do you call that? In the Prevention of Corruption Act. If
Yes.
junior fellow does something, to initiate action against him, senior fellow has to approve.
Mm.
And most of the junior fellows do corruption to help the ministers and other thing only.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why will the senior fellow approve it? You tell me. The junior fellow's corruption, a portion he keeps, the portion he sends up. So there is no political will to act.
Yes.
See, before the election 2014, so much was told about Vadra. Vadra this, Vadra that, and
Yes.
within one fellow even told he has got in his cell phone all details of Vadra. He will be put inside. And 2014, Vadra is happily in Turkey, exercising actually. And there was some report about that he is not frisked, when he goes through the airport thing. And at least that should have been changed. I have seen him in some airports crossing, nobody frisked him. So that even the elementary thing is not. So these are, I think, in Hindi, I think if I remember correctly, the phrase is Nuri Kusti, this bogus type of, World Wrestling Federation type of thing. I'm going to hit you, I'm going to, nothing will happen actually. So this is what is happening. All drama, all stunts actually. And then somebody told there is a big issue of this Rahul Gandhi citizenship. And nothing has happened. Some cases are there that is due to a private individual, Subramaniam Swami's initiative. Some cases are pending at certain places. That's all. Government itself has not, done any major thing. In a lot of cases, our Kani and that other fellow, A. Raja, again the hearing is going on for another 6 months or something. And one doesn't know what will be the result
So
of
do
it.
do they meet more in court than in the house?
Mostly, I think, court only. There, one shouldn't say one is not courting in the court, but one is. So these are what you may loosely call. As somebody told, don't say criticize court like that because then it will be called contempt of court. If you and one of my lawyer friends told, if you say they are corrupt, then you are charged actually. Then you cannot come out. So all this. But I think the political will of the government is sagging. And I am extremely worried about the results which are of Bihar or Bengal or Tamil Nadu and what is going to happen in these states. And if the ruling party doesn't win, which I hope it doesn't take place in the sense the ruling party wins in these states also.
Yes.
But one doesn't know. Then the center doesn't hold actually. Your ability to run. See, you have to go after at least one or two people and punish them.
Yes.
And tell that how it can be done. That fellow is sitting happily. What is my good friend, the Malaya in London? He is very happily sitting, and now it appears he cannot be repatriated, sent back to India. That is the type of a case, and so many others are sitting in so many other Hondarua and.
Why is it so difficult to bring them back?
Yeah, but there it requires political will. There is a 1.5 trillion. I am telling you, illicit money of India abroad. Actually, a small country like Philippines, they constituted a commission to bring back the Marcos and Imelda Marcos money. After 15 years, they succeeded in getting something like 1 billion. Actually, not fully, but so we should constitute a commission. We are a signatory to the United Nations resolution against corruption. Under that, we can constitute a commission and declare all the illicit money kept abroad belongs to the government of India. See, you know, when Philippines have done it, Peru has done it, Nigeria has done it, and this other one more country, as Egypt has done it. Even Pakistan has done it pertaining to this Buddha. See, we have not even one fellow. And Supreme Court constituted what they call as SIT, Special Investigation Teams. And they go and give in a sealed envelope. Why should it be sealed envelope? I think it may be blank only inside. They give to the Supreme Court, and 20 sealed envelopes are available with them. What have they done with it? Nobody knows. So the whole thing is actually very not a functioning democracy, or we cannot be very proud of this state of affairs.
See, one thing, Professor Vaidya, one thing was very admirable about France was that they stood together in the recent incident. You remember? When a man was
very important. Actually, French President Macron told that Islam is in crisis. Except I differ with him. Islam is not in crisis. Islam is putting everybody else into crisis. That is what is happening. They are not in. And France, one hope that Turkey, that fellow calls the France president as mentally having problem. He should go to asylum. And Erdogan, he has got great dreams of creating a what do you call a big caliphate type of thing. Caliphate in Europe. Europe, there are a lot of places where there are clusters of Islam people, and one place near Brussels, they are telling they are going to introduce Sharia law in their panchayat, in their local control. Can you believe that? Same way, many other places also they are planning to introduce Sharia law. So Europe is on a tender box. I can tell you that much. I won't give more than 3 to 5 years for Europe, and because the number of refugees is increasing. And they are realizing that they have made a mistake. And the estimate is not clear. They say 6% of French citizens are belonging to Islam. But many think it can be as high as 15%. Counting is not fully correct. There are a large number of undocumented people inside. And whole of Europe, I call it Eurobia, is the correct name. Eurobia is the good name. London, I call it as Londonistan. London is gone, actually. UK is having. So it's a very big problem. Boatload of people are going every day to Italy from all these crisis countries. Syria, Yemen, Iraq, and then some of the African countries. People are going. And to enter into Italy, once you enter into Italy, you can go anywhere in Europe because of the Schengen visa and other. I think Europe is having a huge problem. Actually. Let's wait and see how they are planning to sort it out.
Professor Vaidya, see, how do you react to Bollywood's sudden reaction to public who have completely boycotted them in every way? So theatres are empty, ads are not being watched, ads are being pulled down. There is a huge, boycott by public who mean business now, and actors are getting scared. So, what is your reaction on that?
I would rather say it is a good approach actually, because boycotting is not something which is bad. You are not chopping off the head of those actors or anything. Unlike in France, where the school teacher head was removed from his neck in the fashion. But you are not. You are just simply telling, I won't watch the movie. You know that, right? See, you have a right to watch a movie as well as a right not to watch a movie. You have a right to buy a book and read it, and a right to not read the book. You know, these are not something which you can object to or anything, and these are not done by the government. These are done by society. I call it social issues, and this is a much better way, if you ask me, than government banning and anything. Social pressure is building, and I think they have to also come to terms. They have been carrying on for the last 70 years nearly anti-Hindu propaganda. Actually, if you see in the social media, on gems of Bollywood, this what they call this actor group, and earlier he had another person who is no more. They have done something like 71 movies between 1980 and 2000. In none of the 71 movies, Islamic believer is a villain. Something very, very interesting. Not even a single movie. This is what, and subtly they have been doing propaganda. And almost all the movies you will find father figure or Islamic person is a very, very pious and very good and very helpful and other thing. Not otherwise. So this type of thing is going on, and social activists are, slowly coming up, and our public is also waking up. You can't claim that they are, and social media has helped quite a lot in this actually. And you remember 2010 or 11, we had a conference in Bangalore of pupils. That time itself, this issue was brought in. The amount of how much time the average Hindu will tolerate this type of insult and other thing. I think you will recall. You were there, I think, 2011 or 2000. One of the first pupil conference we had actually. It was in Bangalore. So slowly you find, so this boycott and other thing will continue. These companies can't do anything and get away with it. For instance, recently the Tanishq ad and other thing. You can't do, there is a, I would say this is not anything wrong or anything. They are not harmed. They are, of course, their business is hurt. That's the whole idea.
Yes.
See, once your business is hurt, then you will realize that there is a, that's what is the critical thing actually for you. Right? I think you have exceeded your time, right? It's all right. Thank you.
Just Another point is, Professor, see, middle classes form the backbone of Indian economy. So, see, they are the ones who are suffering the most during this period. Many of them are out of jobs, and they're just trying to, live on a shoestring budget. And many of them are selling their gold. What can Nirmala ji do to ease their condition?
See, middle class, I have already told you, can be helped by increasing the threshold of taxation to 10 lakh. That's one thing. Immediate. And over and above that, up to say something like 40-50 lakh, 10%, and beyond that 20%. Second is all those older people, not because I belong to that category, the senior citizen, they can abolish taxes completely, except for those who earn more than say 20 or 30 lakh. By dividend income or some very rich people. There they can be taxed at 20%. Second, right? The third is, I told, GST can be abolished for all the small businesses, petty businesses, up to 50 crore, if you ask me. Nothing big deal about it. Small businesses. See, the middle class is the worst suffering in India, always. The poorer segment, in somewhere or other, they get some free goods and some method. And the richer segment, of course, don't care about this government. So this is the middle fellow is the one, and middle fellow is the one who maximum works hard for the functioning of the country. Actually, he's not. So all small fellows, you just don't bother about me. Exclude them from GST. There is another. And remove all this regulatory framework on all these small fellows. You do this, you do that, another thing. Hundreds of. So this is what I would immediately suggest. and this will give some boost to what you may loosely call the demand side of the picture. People have to be encouraged to. So this is advice I would unsolicited advice, but you can always give advice. Advice is free, right? So you can always give. Whether somebody will follow it or not is other. Too much amount of this. Actually, the simplification of government is extremely important. A simple circular you can't understand actually. They send one circular telling the earlier circular stands. Who knows what is the earlier circular? Nobody knows. So this is something which is very very simple thing. You are not. We have lost somewhere actually. So you cannot. You have to buy peace with the middle class, and they are suffering quite a lot actually. Cutting in salary, and a lot of people in bench have what you call have been removed from companies. Quite a lot of companies have quietly sent away the people. It's a very very sad state of affairs actually. Middle class should be helped. Very important. And giving more loan from bank is again and again I am telling is not useful by itself. You must stimulate demand, and that's where people are not my carpenter, my barber. No, he says nobody is calling me because of this COVID fear and other things. Businesses are totally down actually.
Professor Vaidya, another question is, last question before we wind up, is that see why are whistleblowers or normal journalists like Samit Thakur, Vibhor, or Sunaina Hole, these people being arrested by Maharashtra government? I mean, there is a thing for free speech. What is the reason why they're being arrested? And then we don't know what is happening to them when they are in jail.
I agree with you. See, the Maharashtra government has, if you ask me, it is pagal actually. It has gone mad. It's very worried about it, and it's an anchorless ship actually run by some. And many people know that this Dawood grip on the Maharashtra system, Bombay system is very high. Bombay police, there were reports earlier that many of them report to him. They don't report to their own head. So they don't like this whistleblower and other things. They want all their dogs, when you whistle, they should come to you and then fall at your feet. It's not whistleblower. It's a blowing the whistle for the dog. So all these people who expose and all these people who want to bring facts, you don't like them actually. And you want to run a dictatorship. Actually, you want everybody to say that Uddhav Thackeray is the greatest gift given to the country. And somebody, I was reading a report that the cop told the fellow, one journalist, why did you write Uddhav's name? If you write his or tell his name also, we will arrest you. So other day in airport, Bombay airport, one fellow was shouting you another thing. His friend has come, whose name is Uddhav. He didn't want to call him by name, because if he calls by name, cops will come and arrest him. It's a what you may loosely call a very Kafkaesque situation actually. Kafka would have laughed at this whole thing actually. And then that one, what is that one local? I always call him as a collection agent for this Parel area. That Raut, R-A-U-T, Raut, right? He is going around telling his own definition of Indian. He says, call somebody haramkhor. He says, no. What I meant is actually not even real. Some all sort of one like one Madhya Pradesh minister calls a girl as an item number, and he says, no. I meant she is a sweet item. Good girl. So everybody is redefining the abusive words, and that Rao thinks that he has become a national leader. Actually, that is another interesting. He says you can't. What do you call? We are going to form Mahagadi at center also. It's very interesting. I don't know how long this will go on. this type of a what do you call drama, and very sad that individuals are getting harassed actually. Like that girl, that film actress, our what is that? Kangana. Our house was demolished.
Yes, yes.
Can you beat this? Our office was demolished. This is brutal actually. It's worse than Indira Gandhi's emergency time. Suddenly, one big dumper went to her office and then hit the walls. And wow, is there a rule of law at all in Bombay? There is no rule of. And I tell you, this Hafta party, I call them Hafta party. They are not a regular political party. They Shiv Sena. None of its MLAs have quit. Everybody is telling they are Hindutva and all crap actually.
Yeah.
Not even one MLA has resigned from that party.
Yeah.
They have agitated.
In fact, Professor, Salman Khan's bodyguard is also a part of Shiv Sena.
Yeah. Salman Khan, that actor who invented that driverless car, which went and
hit the pedestal.
More than Tesla. I think first fellow who invented the driverless car.
Yes.
His car was without driver. It drove and then some 3-4 people were killed, I think. That was the first one in the world actually. First driverless. And then there was, is he the same fellow? One deer or one black buck in Rajasthan. It took a gun and it suicided. It killed itself actually. Nobody killed it. In India, very interesting thing. Nobody kills anybody. All self only. So that is the type of, the more you think about this thing, the more you actually lose sleep. Very sad actually. As a journalist, I'm sure you will be feeling more sad. And good that you are not in Bombay because they may come and pick you up also.
Yeah. So, see, Professor Vaidya, from day one, since Sushant died, they've all been on the streets. And people have joined hands and it's become such a big movement that now the government cannot ignore. So even if they take Arnab or anybody, into custody or whatever, there is a whole force fighting this.
That's correct. But but they don't care. This is what is the thing, right? I hope at some point center intervenes in this thing.
Yes.
Sooner it is a better,
Yes.
You can lift the telephone and talk to the people and you can't do this. You don't have to dismiss the government or anything. After all, you are in talking term with Sharad Pawars and Thackeray's and others. Actually, there was a report telling that this Fadnavis met with this Raut for some 2 hours. I don't know what they talked. God knows. So you can tell them this is not done thing. This is not something. You are not running a separate country in Bombay. You are actually part and parcel of the Indian Republic. You have to follow the Constitution of India actually. And you cannot bully a fellow. Right? You can't bully a person. Anyway, I hope this whole thing is coming to proper end. Sooner it is.
Yes.
Better.
Thank you so much, Professor, for this wonderful talk. And I hope you'll join us again for another session because I think the remarks are.
Thanks a lot.
Everybody's been enjoying the session. And everybody is thanking you for it.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Yeah.